Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. Welcome back to the show. Brandon from Amped. The guys were on a few months ago, and but today we're going to talk about something slightly different. We've obviously discussed in the past about external traffic. We've covered quite a lot on the show, but one of the angles we're looking at today is sending the external traffic to the store front page and why and what the benefits are. And we'll do some comparisons here to sending it to the product page, etc. So, Brandon, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Danny. Appreciate it.
Was it you or Josh who came on before? I can't remember. I did both of you because it was a few months ago now.
It was Joshua. Yeah.
That's right. So Josh, yeah. So Josh, come on. So you work with Josh. What's your role at Amped?
Yeah. So I'm the CTO co-founder. And so Joshua and I have been in partnership for a couple of years now. And so initially we were the ones that, were taking Google ads and sending it to Amazon and really trying to pioneer that whole thing.
Excellent. Cool. Right. So let's get into it. Let's roll it out. Let's start from bottom up. Let's talk about why it's more important. It's actually more cost effective and more important to send external traffic to the storefront page.
Yeah, it's neat kind of being on the frontier here because we get to see at the bleeding edge with customer data what are the best opportunities to keep improving your advertisements. And what we found is that when you send traffic to a particular product page, you're giving your users one particular option. Yeah. And so if, for instance, a good way to think about it is that, for instance, if you're searching for scented candles and you're doing a Google search for scented candles, you may have a particular scent in mind or a particular color. And if you send them to one product page, it might not be the candle that they want to buy. So the idea here is send them to a storefront page that has many different variations of candles, different scents, different colors, where they can now understand that they have a few options and they can pick that option right there. And another thing that we're seeing too is that when you send someone to your branded storefront page, you don't get any competitor ads on there as well. And so you don't want to lose a click to one of your competitors. And so storefront page is a great way to do that.
Yeah, because obviously with people targeting ads on the page as well at a lower price, customers are generally price sensitive. Okay, yeah, in most cases you're scrolling below the fold, but it becomes leaky, doesn't it? Like when you're sending to a landing page, you should have one focus for your conversion and remove all the clutter and the confusion. And obviously the product page looks very cluttered anyway. And as the purchasers are scrolling down, there's always an opportunity that you've lost based on, even if it's not external traffic and it's sponsored products, etc. You're still running that risk of this problem. So the key thing is to make sure from a conversion optimization point of view, is you're focused on one conversion and be able to give those different variations is really important.
Yeah, that's right. And what we recommend normally is when you're starting to advertise a product, send it to that product page. Also make a storefront page that has that product and variations of that product and test it out. We're all about testing to see what works and what doesn't. So that way you can figure out, across your products, what's actually getting the best ACoS.
Yeah. So what are some of the results that you've seen? Just an example, you've got tons of clients, so you get access to a lot of data. And when you've run this, call it A/B, it's not a split test, but when you're using your what's the word for it, is that you're portioning off and comparing the two. What kind of uplift have you seen there in terms of conversion, reduced ACoS, etc.?
Yeah. What we normally find is that if you have that 2-campaign strategy where you're running to a product page and then to a storefront page, if you have a lot of variations, such as the scented candle, where you have many different scents, many different colors, you will see a better conversion rate if you have that storefront page. And the conversion rate that I'm talking about is it depends on your product category, your price, and your reviews. But normally what we see is about 20 to 30% increase in conversion rate and going to ACoS across the board if you have a lot of variations, and variations are important when you're shopping. Now, the other thing that you will see too is that if in terms of price, if you are not the lowest price and you're in a category where people are very, very price sensitive, then having a storefront page will help that quite a bit, especially if you have different prices on different products. That way, if they are price shopping, they're price shopping within your brand versus price shopping against you and competitors on a particular product page.
Yeah, cool. And what about this? Just quickly going into any differentiation of setting up external traffic, Google Ads, sending to the product page versus sending to the storefront?
Yeah, the setup is extremely easy. So what you'll do is you'll make a landing page and you'll manually select the products for your storefront page that you want to advertise on. So in the scented candle example, you'll want to make sure that you're just showing scented candles in different variations and high sellers. But it only takes a few minutes to set up, and but it's worth it. And then as soon as you have that URL, you'll take that URL and you'll put it into Google Ads. Now, one of the things that you'll want to really make sure of is that you have the tracking associated with it. So that tracking in particular is that Amazon attribution tracking, to make sure that you're actually going to see the products converting on that page. The other thing that is really, really important for this is when you set up a storefront page, you want to make sure that your products, your best-selling products, are above the fold. So what we've typically seen as the best format is you have a banner at top that is talking about your brand and your products, and then but immediately after you have your products, you have their first row of products above the fold so a user can see it when they're on the computer. And then if you do want to put a video or some other type of content or descriptions, you can do that further down the page, but you want to give them the best possibility to make a purchase right there.
Yeah. Are we okay to, obviously you shared the data here. Is it okay just to give an example where we can read the ad? Because it sounds quite funny, but it says best scented candles. And obviously when you're doing your ad, it's also a scent as well. So your ad copy needs to match where the person is landing. So for instance, on this Google ad that you got here, is it okay to read it out?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so best scented candles, 100+ ratings, free shipping with Prime. So that's effectively the title. And then high quality candles in a variety of fragrances. Brushed tin lid serves as a coaster, hand illustrated labels, and vibrant wax colors. So everything that's in that description of the ad in terms of this PDF is an exact match when it comes to the layout and what the customer is expecting once they get to the product page. Because I think that is very key, is that people miss on that, is that they don't know how critical that the ad must be attributed to what the customer sees after their first click.
100%. And if you think about it from a customer perspective, if you're a customer and you're doing a Google search for scented candles, and then you see ad copy, like you're saying, Danny, that fits best scented candles, it has the 100+ ratings, and it talks about how you have different varieties of fragrances. All of a sudden, it's a very magical experience for the customer, because now they're going to click on the ad. And that's what we start seeing is we see, between 10 to 20% click-through rates when you have a very good ad. And in this case too, this is an example of the storefront where you don't have to hone in on a specific scent or a fragrance. You can actually talk about the category at large. So that way you get a better result in terms of them looking and finding the fragrance and the color that they want.
Yeah, and also the other thing is, because it's an Amazon URL, on the top of the ad it says Amazon.com. So you're leveraging the brand recognition for Amazon as well. A lot of people shop there, so that's going to have a tremendous impact on click-through rates as well.
That's right. That's exactly right. Another thing that I'm seeing in the data, and we haven't quantified this yet, but this is just early signs, is that we find that mobile traffic with Google Ads converts very well.
Yeah.
And my hypothesis here is that if you're on your phone, your iPhone, for instance, and you want to buy something, let's say you're putting in product category, and let's say it's scented candles, Amazon. When you put that in, it's easy to do a Google search, and then you let Google show you the top places to buy from. If you put Amazon in there, then what happens is that if you click the link at the top, it's going to be the advertisement that you're using on Google Ads. But you can think of it as kind of a shortcut to get, past your competition, which is pretty neat. Because now, like you just said, Amazon.com, you're going to that URL, so you have all the respect and notoriety from Amazon.com, but then also you get to your product page or to your category page. And from the customer's perspective, you just made it easy for them to kind of deep link into the place that they're looking for. And you get all the Amazon.com thing at the beginning mentioned in the ad. So that way they feel like they're at the right place, right time in order to make a purchase.
Yeah, because a lot of Amazon's ads, their own ads, what they run in the past, would always send to the search results page.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And this looks like the storefront looks like a search results page. It's just a search results page that you've carefully crafted to make sure that you have your best sellers on there and it's highlighting your brand.
Yeah. Any other key things to cover in and around that in terms of the build of the page? We said about the banner at the top. You're going to make sure you get all your color variations or super niche down related products based on the ad. And then obviously you're going to build out other pages from there as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think that's the key is you're building other pages, you're testing keywords, you're testing ad copy. And the whole idea is that your shoppers are out there on Google. We see Google ads as the second most valuable channel for Amazon sellers. And if they're out there and they're using Google to search, then as long as you have the right ad copy, it's focused on your particular products, you bring them either to a great product page that has a really competitive price, great reviews, or you bring them to a category page, which is a storefront page that you own, then you're going to find a winning combination.
Yeah. Anything new that you guys are working on that you can speak about? Not necessarily features in the pipeline, but some of the results you've seen from tests pertaining to ranking and stuff?
Yeah. One thing that we're looking at right now that's really interesting is we don't have enough data on this to statistically speak about. But what we're doing is we're seeing early signs. The canonical URL that is used in order to get, so the canonical URL basically has keywords in the URL. And this is the URL that Amazon creates for your listing page when you first create it. And this URL is then submitted to Google in order to pick up SEO.
Yeah.
And so what's interesting here is that those keywords are usually part of your product title or close variations of it. And if you think about the keywords in that product title and what it means to be listed on Google and have a click with that canonicalized URL with those keywords that are tied to your listing, and then someone purchasing on your product page with that canonicalized URL, there has to be a tie back to the Amazon algorithm. And so what we're seeing initially is that there's two ways to set up a direct listing page. There's the /DP/ASIN, or you can do the canonicalized URL, which is /keywords, and then it has your ASIN at the very end. And so I would encourage anyone that's looking at this and testing this to use the canonicalized URL to understand how that ranks against particular keywords that are in your canonicalized URL. So for instance, if you were to do /scented -candles three other keywords that were important to your listing and then your particular product, then those are the keywords that you would want to track organically to see if those are increasing. And so we've seen early signs of those having an increase.
Yeah, cool. Anything else that you've been testing that you can give us a little smidgen on?
Yeah, the other thing that we've looked at is putting max CPCs on campaigns, and so you can't put conversion information back into Google from Amazon.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to stay clear from that.
That's
But
breaking the terms of service big, yeah, because that's feeding data back into Google, and that's the last thing they want. Yeah,
exactly, that's exactly right. So, but what you can do though is you can, when you set your bids on a campaign, you can essentially set a max CPC. So putting those ceilings, so to speak, on your cost per clicks, make sure that you're not spending too much. So what you can do is you can start out at $1 or $1.50 to make sure you're not paying $2 to $3 per click. Because what we're finding is that clicks on Google for a lot of the categories are cheaper than Amazon advertising, but you want to make sure that you're keeping them cheap. And max CPCs to set that in Google Ads is a very easy way to do that.
Cool. So quickly, last bit before we finished, how's the development of AMPed? I mean, I know it blew up a couple of months ago or a few months ago. There's a lot of people using the service and been excited about it. What's some of the new features you're implementing into that?
Yeah, so where we're headed, so what we have right now is the ability to edit ad copy and essentially make a really good ad, pick great keywords for your particular campaign. So any of the optimizations that you need to do on your ad, we can do that through AMP now.
Yeah.
Where we're headed with this and what we're really excited with is we're putting some automation in here. So some machine learning to be able to automatically pause keywords that are not going to have the best chance for success. So we're very excited about this. We're going to start piloting this very, very soon here in the next month. And what that means then is you'll still be responsible for picking new keywords and getting and testing those out. But ones that you've had running for a little bit, we'll use machine learning on our side to automatically pause those if we don't predict that those will have a good ROI.
Gotcha. Cool. And what's the best way that people can reach you?
Yeah, so if you go to amped.io, you can install our software. It literally takes just a few minutes, and we have this neat thing with our software that if you're new to Google Ads, in combination with Amped will give you $500 of matched Google Ads credits. So it's pretty nice. It's like a risk reversal to kind of get started, so you can see if it works for your store.
Excellent. Guys, don't forget, Seller Sessions Live is now sold out. That takes place in 4 weeks' time. Check out the website for any refunds that come through. Often you're going to get 1 or 2 refunds come up. So keep an eye on the website there. We still got some tickets left for Branded by Women. I think there's about 20. We have a discount code, which is 10BBW. Sharon will be back here tomorrow. I'll see you next week. Take care of yourself and your family. Much love.